started here. I'm going to mute everybody's line.
Thank you.
Only the host can talk now.
All right, good morning, everyone. This is Parks and National Weather Service. We're going to start our briefing here for our weather event coming up today. All right, just a quick overview here. Since yesterday, probably the biggest change in terms of the outlook-wise is the enhanced risk area. We talked about yesterday, that's kind of a smaller area that's expanded. It pretty much covers our entire forecast area, all Southeast Alabama, Southwest Georgia. We also have our initial tornado watches in effect this morning. I'll show you where that is, and then how we expect that to expand through the rest of the day. The main line that we've been expecting is now just starting to develop just to the west of our area or towards Mobile into southwestern Alabama. That's just starting to develop, but we are seeing it develop, and that's going to be what we're going to be keying in on through the rest of the day. We continue to have increasing confidence that our primary hazard is going to be the damaging wind gust, probably widespread gusts 60 to 70 miles per hour, and we're going to have isolated gusts of 70 plus miles per hour. It's going to be just a few spots probably getting those high-speed winds, but that's kind of what the high end we're looking at in terms of the damaging wind gusts. Also have the possibility for isolated tornadoes as well. Early on, we may see a few kind of individual cells develop with this, and then later on, just embedded within the line, we could see some isolated tornadoes as well. We've got other hazards as well. We're having some localized river flooding with the rainfall that we've had and we expect to have for the rest of the day. Possibly some minor coastal flooding impacts in Big Bend, and we still got our flash flood watch out as well for locally heavy rain. As you probably noticed this morning, it is windy outside. We're seeing routinely gusts in the Panhandle up into southeast Alabama of 40 to 45 miles per hour. That's going to continue through the day and spread eastward, so we'll see impacts from that as well. All right, so take a quick look. This is where the current tornado watch is situated. It was issued earlier this morning. This particular watch goes until 2 Eastern, 1 Central time, but there will be another watch issued before this watch expires. It'll most likely cover the remainder of the area and probably some of the area that's in the current watch as well. So this won't be the only watch for today. This will extend to the east later on. All right, here's our day one outlook that I talked about just a minute ago, showing the brownish orange color there. That's the enhanced risk area. It now covers the entire forecast area. This is where we're expecting the widespread damaging wind gusts and the isolated tornadoes through the rest of the day. We dig in that a little bit deeper. We talked about a little bit. We expect this squall line to really get more intense and intensify as it moves eastward. If we look at the probability of severe wind from kind of within that same outlook area, highlight this area in purple here. This area in purple that I'm looking at here, the red marker. So that's the area where we're worried about the highest possibility of these high-end wind gusts. So that's where we're expecting an isolated wind gust, 70 plus miles per hour, really anywhere in that purple area. So it's like I said, when as the line moves to the east through the day today, we do expect it to intensify. Probably be at its most intense even as it gets towards the I-75 corridor and it's moving east out of the area. All right, we'll talk a little bit more about timing now. We're starting to be able to narrow down things a little bit, especially now that the main line is starting to develop. So I'm going to go through this, break it down just a little bit for you. We still kind of got the same areas roughed out. For southeast Alabama, Florida Panhandle, kind of far southwest Georgia up here, I'm going to kind of draw this in up a little bit with my marker. You'll be able to see that okay. So really probably within the next 2 hours, we're going to start to see this line start to impact these western parts of the area right in here. So that's going to be early in this 10 to 1 p.m. Central Time range here. So that's really the next few hours we're going to start seeing the impacts in that region there. Okay. Now moving further to the east, here our next kind of subset here. I'm going to circle here. So this is going to be at the latter end of this 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. So this is going to be probably the 11 to 1 Central Time frame as we move into this area here. Okay, so as we get into this first part, you're going to see probably some individual cells, but as it starts getting towards this Fort Gaines, Marietta, Panama City corridor, we're probably going to see it consolidate to a pretty solid line. All right, so as we move a little bit farther to the east now, get into this next time frame, this 2 p.m. to 7 p.m. time frame. So we'll kind of break that down a little bit. First half of this is going to be the first half of this time frame, probably 2 to 5 p.m. time frame. Okay, so it's going to be in that time frame we're expecting that line to move through here. Like I said, probably going to be intensifying as it moves to the east today. That's our anticipation. So like I said, 2 p.m., 5 p.m. roughly in that time, in that window. Move a little bit farther. Second half of this window here, probably looking here, kind of that 4 to 7 p.m. time frame for the second half of the area as it heads towards the I-75 corridor. And then finally, as we get towards the eastern parts of the area, I-75 corridor down towards Valdosta, this area here, probably the early part of this window, roughly about 5 to 8 p.m. in here, as we get a little farther out, and then beyond that, so probably after 8 o'clock for Lafayette, Dixie counties in those areas. Still expect the line to be quite strong as it moves into these areas, so we're not really expecting any weakening as it moves across. So that's kind of what we're expecting timing-wise. Okay, so we'll move on here. Now, I will mention too, that's mainly for the main line. There is a possibility we could get some cells develop out ahead of the main line. We'll be watching those for isolated tornadoes, but this is the timing pretty much for the main line. A couple other hazards we'll talk about. So here's our flood watch that we have issued in the dark green here. We've got river flood warnings that we've issued this morning for a few of the rivers up here, especially in the northwestern part of the area. They're starting to rise from the rainfall. We'll be refining those forecasts as we get additional rainfall today. We've got our high surf advisory along the Gulf beaches here in the Panhandle. So again, seeing some images, really high surf out there with strong onshore flow. And we've got a coastal flood advisory here to the east, the Big Bend coast. So we're expecting some minor water rises there, especially late this afternoon as we get towards high tide. Rainfall we've had so far, so this is from late yesterday to the overnight hours. Pretty good rainfall in the southeast Alabama, and this strip here going into Geneva County, back towards Walton County, where we've had 3 to 5 inches of rain in that area. A little bit lesser amounts kind of surrounding that. So that's what we've had so far. This is what we're expecting through the rest of the event. So heaviest amounts a little bit further to the east now that we're moving into kind of the second phase of the event. 2 to 2.5 inches as the line moves through. Line's going to be moving pretty fast, so that's going to limit the totals a little bit, but still pretty solid, 2 to 2.5 inches expected through the rest of the day. Along the coast here, Big Bend, maximum water levels we could see about 1.5 to 3 feet above normal water levels here, so maybe some minor impacts along the coastal areas. I'm not expecting anything that's going to lead us to issue a coastal flood warning or anything like that at this time. Like I said, we've also got the windy conditions out there, so that's all the areas in brown. We've got the wind advisory out, so that's going to have gusts 40 to 45 miles per hour for most of the day today. That's going to be well out ahead of the line, not associated with any thunderstorms or anything like that. So we've already seen that this morning, and that's only going to continue through the rest of today. So that could, just in and of itself, already has led to some power outages around the area, the tree limbs coming down with these winds. All right, so just to repeat the overview here, we've got the enhanced risk for the entire area. We've got our initial tornado watches out. We're going to get another tornado watch later on. Main line is starting to develop and intensify across southwest Alabama. That's going to be moving to the east and accelerating kind of through the day and intensifying through the day. That's going to give us our hazards there. That's going to give us our strong damaging winds across much of the area, 60 to 70 miles per hour. And then when we're highlighted in that purple area, that's where the line itself is not going to last a whole long time. You're probably talking about half an hour or so is that the strongest portion moves through. So it's going to come up quick and then move out quick. We'll still have possibilities of isolated tornadoes embedded in the line or any cells that develop out ahead of the line. So we'll be watching that. So that's all I've got right now. Just a few reminders. as always, give us a call anytime if you have any questions. We're always happy to talk to you and help you out. Get on NWS chat. We'll be on there monitoring, trying to answer as many questions as we can. Pass along any advantage reports you receive. You can call us. You can put them in the NWS chat. That's fine. So, you know, the more reports we can get from you, the better our warnings will be going forward, so we know kind of what's going on the ground. So we don't have any additional briefings planned. We'll be putting in as many updates kind of in near real time in NWS chat as we can going forward. So that's all I've got. I'm going to open up the lines here, and we'll open it up for any questions. So hang on just a moment for me.